further. All right, all right, all right. I think we're good to go ahead and start here. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. Are you tired of me yet? I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap or call me Nap. And welcome to long time no see. Uh, I'm surprised anybody's here. I saw after I figured you guys would be tired of me by now after seeing me for way too long yesterday. But hello, Josh. I saw you were here while we were in the starting soon screen. And thank you so much for the 3 stream streak. And hello, Ulysses. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good night tonight. But yeah, oof. Wow. So, yesterday was truly something, huh? Yesterday really was something. That's God, I still haven't even I don't think been able to fully process yesterday. Um it truly was shocking how well everything went, I feel like, for the most part. Because I was truly I truly wasn't expecting this, not only this much support, but just everything. We had plenty of time things to fill in the time. I was so nervous that we were not gonna have enough events or things to fill the 12 hours. Turns out we had more than enough. More than enough. There were some things we didn't get to do nearly as long as I initially planned for. But yeah, it was truly, I mean, after I finished stream yesterday, I had a quick dinner and I tried to go to bed, and man, I could not. It took me forever to fall asleep because I was just so, I don't know. I don't know if it was adrenaline or just thinking about everything. It was just crazy. Hello, Toki. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good day or night tonight. But yeah. What country your ancestors come from to the USA? Mine are, it's a mix. I'm a mutt, basically. There's a lot. I have some I know I have some Scottish, I have some Irish, English, German, Polish, Ukrainian, Russian, all just yeah, it's all over the place. It is truly all over the place. I'm basically a mutt at this point. Especially because one side of my family has been in America for so long that they've been in America for so long that it just took it's hard to really, there's no real clear, it's not like we had recent ancestors that came within the last 100 years and have a direct descendant or lineage for our ancestry. We really don't in terms of who came over. But yeah, so if you weren't here yesterday, man, you missed a lot. You really missed a lot if you weren't here yesterday. We did a lot of fun things, and with those fun things, we also did this. We also we crazily hit almost all of these sub goals. Something is missing from your PNG. No, it's not. This is how I normally look. This is how I normally look. That was just a one-time thing. Maybe I'll make it a channel point redeem for this or some of my other PNGs, but it's going to be a lot. It is going to be a lot. Maybe. But yeah, thanks to you guys' amazing support yesterday. We made it. We got 30 subs yesterday. And basically that means that in the next month, in the coming month, I am going to do both a museum tier list stream, which I'm very excited for, and a horror stream, which I am not excited for in the slightest. But yeah, that's again. Thank you guys again so much for all the support yesterday and everything. That was truly crazy. But where's Lewis? Is he okay? Oh yeah, no, Lewis is. Hold on, he's not really on this screen normally. He's normally on the other screens. Hold on. Where is he? There he is. There's Lewis. Oh, I forgot to. So in the chaos of like ending yesterday, in all the chaos yesterday, and we were like ending on time and everything, I forgot to ask Lewis a very important question, which was how he thought the stream overall went yesterday. So we're gonna go ahead and ask him now. Lewis, how do you think the stream went yesterday?
Love the aesthetic.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lewis. Great answer. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself too, apparently. Great to hear. All right. So, let's see. So to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing today, and the plans with that. Hello, Pirate. Welcome on in. Good to see ya. Hope you're having a great evening. So to some of the new people who maybe aren't familiar with what we do on these streams or the current project that we're working on. Okay, so Lewis, you're going to have to go away real quick. All right. So, let's see. All right. Get ready for a Victorian child jump scare in 3, 2, 1. Wait, shit. There they are. So, this is what we're doing today. This is what we're researching. So, for the past almost 2.5 months now, roughly, I have been researching everybody in this photograph I bought in an antique store. I bought this photograph at an antique store back in around Christmas time when I was visiting family in California. And as you can see here, all the children in this photo have a number in front of them. And those numbers correspond with the back of the photo. And the back of the photo is a list with full names of all of the children in this photo. Currently, we have researched 19 of them. We have researched 19 of the people in this photo. Today, we're moving on to number 20, who you can see right there. Number 20 is Marion Lighton. This photograph, just to give a little bit of context, is from 1888. So you can see here, the person on the back wrote, taken July 13th, 1888. And it's a birthday party photo for an Eleanor Metcalf. And we know that this photograph was taken in a town called Tehanic, Pennsylvania. And oh my god, okay, hold on. Before we start researching, there is something I need to show you guys that I can't believe I found. Hold on. Okay.
You know how Pizza Hut...
Whoop, hold on. Okay, hold on, let me... okay, hold on, let me... We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna go to our classroom real quick. Okay. So, the other day before our stream, and I meant to talk about this yesterday, but I forgot because there was so much just stuff going on. But on Friday, I was just minding my own business, watching YouTube like I normally do. And I saw in my subscription feed a new video from Cinemassacre, or James Rolfe, who, if you don't remember, James Rolfe is the angry video game nerd. classic YouTuber, been around for almost like 20 years at this point, I think. Over 20 years making YouTube videos. And he made a video. He made a video talking about nostalgia going to a 90s Pizza Hut restaurant, which is a pizza chain here in the US if you're not familiar. It's very nostalgic. It's very very popular here in the US, and it used to be way more of like a sit down kind of restaurant and had like a full like restaurant experience, whereas now it's mostly just takeout. Um but now they've been let me go ahead and just transition here. They've been rebranding uh to try and like bring back some of the nostalgia that people had for it. And I just want to show you what happened in the first 20 seconds of this video that made me freak out.
Used to not
Hold
just
on.
be about.
Wait, let me turn it up real quick. Hello, Warthrone. Welcome on in. Okay, so
You know how Pizza Hut used to not just be about the pizza?
so
Care Bear sticker books
I'm watching
only at
this,
Pizza Hut.
Most
and then
Pizza
this
Huts
happens.
now, you drive by them and you don't even think twice. They're basically just there for DoorDash orders and the next real estate opportunity, probably for a vape shop or something like that. But this one in Pennsylvania, in a town called Tunkahoma, it's near Scranton, so let's just say Scranton.
I can never escape it. If you don't know, Tacanic is the town that is where all of these children are from and is referenced on the back of this photo right here. I know more about Tacanic than I ever imagined I ever would. And even when I'm trying to relax watching YouTube videos, I just I can't escape it. It's following me everywhere. You should have seen my reaction when I was watching this video for the first time. Like I genuinely like almost like stood up from my desk and I was just like, "Oh my god." Like it just felt crazy. Put a restraining order on the town. Yeah, maybe. I feel like I need to at this point. Probably more than the people who even live there. Yeah. I mean, God, it was just such a just as like a slap in the face of like, oh my God. It was genuinely just like a slap in the face of like, oh nope, you can't forget what you're doing. It follows me everywhere. Truly. Okay, let me go ahead, turn that off real quick. All right, so onward to what we're doing today. How was the rest after yesterday's stream? Oh, it went well. I honestly had like after yesterday, I had a lot of energy. Like I still felt like I could, if I wasn't hungry, I could have gone uh a little bit longer, honestly. Um but yeah, and I was also talking about how like after it ended, like I don't know if it was like adrenaline or something like that, but like I couldn't it took me forever to fall asleep. Like it genuinely took me a long time. I was just like I don't know, just my mind was just going all over the place still. I feel like I hadn't fully like calmed down by that point. And overall today I feel pretty good. Throat's a little sore, I'll say. Throat is a little sore, but other than that, nothing too crazy. Oh yes, Lewis is definitely here to stay. I mean, Lewis has been here the whole time. Lewis has been here. Oh wait, hold on. There's another Lewis I forgot to put back. I had to like reorganize some stuff because of the hold on. Here we go. There's one more Lewis. Hold on. There you go. He's been up there the whole time too. And thank you for the 3 stream streak, Warthrone. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate you guys being here. sticking around. So yeah, so he is still around. The channel point redeem is still there, and at any point during this research, I'll, uh, so if you guys ever want to ask him questions, you can. I'll keep asking him questions and stuff, and so on and so forth. So I also did not notice Lewis. I mean, that's again, that's why I kind of made that thing, because I realized, he's there, but like we don't really do anything with him, and like a lot of people probably don't even realize that he's there a lot of the time. So yeah, so anyway, on to what we're doing today. We are basically continuing where we left off with our research. For if you haven't been here before, this is a list of all the people that we've researched so far and all like information. All their information of like, things that happened in their life, their date of death, who their parents were, if they married or not, or if they had kids. All that kind of stuff. How do you find this? I'm going to show you actually today how I do this, using mostly Ancestry.com and newspapers.com, and maybe a few other websites sometimes. But yeah, using basically genealogy databases and everything. And we've found some crazy stuff so far. Some highlights include Marion Metcalf, who ended up marrying an Olympic sprinter, a gold medal Olympic sprinter, who competed in the 1900 Paris Olympics and won gold in 2 sprinting events. We have Amy Brown, who took me 3 hours on stream to find. 3 hours of stream to like try and find her and everything, and her sister, who's also in this photo. We have Eliza Furman, whose life was insane. She unfortunately passed away at the age of 15. But we discovered all kinds of crazy stuff about her family in the process, and like how she ended up with her family, because we discovered she was adopted, but her birth father was still alive, and that he likely just kind of abandoned her. Yeah, it was just a crazy amount of, and also that she was almost hit by a train. Yeah, she was almost hit by a train at the age of 2. It was just insane. I think she died from, if I remember correctly, I think she died from pneumonia or some. I know it was a disease. It was just some sort of sickness or disease. From what I remember. Let's see. There was also Helen Lewis, who had the very, very unfortunate luck of getting hit by a truck on her birthday and dying because of it. Let's see. Who was the one who had... Oh, yeah. Blanche Dietrich might have married her college professor. And then, let's see. Oh, Lillian Heckman. Lillian Heckman, who was by far the saddest story I have ever uncovered in my life. Like, I was actually almost like tearing up on stream, like as we were uncovering things, because it was just so sad. Sadie Weir here is the only out of the 20 people or 19 people we've researched so far. Sadie is the only one that I could not 100% confirm that we found. I found somebody with a similar name from the area at the time, but that's it. That's all I could find. So I don't know if they are the person that we're supposed to be looking for. And then let's see what else. Oh yeah, and then the last person we researched, Jessie Garman, number 19 in this photo. She her research took 2 streams to get through, because she ended up being a missionary in what is now Iran, at the beginning of World War One, and her husband had to flee Iran, uh, and go around. Basically, they circumnavigated the whole globe. They went through the Middle East, down into India, and then China, and then across the Pacific to get back home. It took them 5 months, 5 months of traveling across the world, and is by far probably the most traveled person in this whole full photo, probably in like Titanic's history. Because she went back. She spent like several decades in Iran. Her children were born there. Like it was insane uncovering her story. But today we move on to Marion Leighton, who I think is going to be decently easy because I already know some information about her because we've already researched her sister, Bessie. We've already researched her sister. And we already have some information on her. We already know who her parents are, and stuff like that. So it's gonna be very easy to find her, overall. That's a breach of ethics. Wait, would there have been back then to breach? I don't think so. I don't think ethics like that were really much of a thing, unfortunately. All right. So yeah, so this is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter stream than normal, especially after yesterday. But every time I say that, we end up finding way too much stuff, so I'm just going to shut up. All right, so right off the bat. So Marion Leighton. And then we know that they're all in Wyoming County, Pennsylvania, because that's where Titanic is. We'll start with just this and see if we get her. Okay, so her parents, according to Bessie's info, yeah, James and Maria. Okay, so, yep, this is her. This is her right here. So I think this census record then. Yep. Okay. Marion, James, Malaya. Okay, yes, this is her. This is her. Let's see. We got some good information here. Birth certificate for one of her kids, a marriage certificate, it looks like, church records, a bunch of census records. Family history. Okay. So, like I said, I knew this one was going to be very easy to find because we already found her sister. So, let's go ahead and look at this 1900 census, which is the first one we're going to have for her. Yep, so there she is, Marion. I think Bessie is her older sister. I think. And she would have maybe moved out by this point. And that's why she's not here. So yeah, this says born December 1881. She was born in 1881. That means that she's December of 1881. So she's 6. She's 6 years old in the photo above me there. And her father, was her father no, her father was a farmer. Okay. For some reason I thought her father was an attorney, because a lot of the people that we've been researching in this photo have had have been attorneys in like other like kind of more upper class, but this one wasn't. I forgot they were farmers. Oh no, phone about to die. Well, you better go. Hopefully you'll be able to plug that in real quick and figure that all out. All right. So yeah, so she's still living. She's 18 at this point. She's still living at home. Look at the 1910 census. It looks like she married at that point. Interesting. Okay, so this... Hold on. Let me reload this real quick. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so there she is right there, Marion. And she married a man named Isaac. Isaac Kepperly. At this point, they had a son and a daughter. Hello, Paperclip. Welcome on in. Good to see ya. Hope you're having a good evening tonight. We just started researching a girl by the name of Marion Lighton. We found just these 2 census records so far. Her with her parents in 1900 census, and we just looking at the 1910 census with, apparently she's married. They've been married for 4 years at this point, according to this. What's interesting, though, this says she's 26. This says she's 18. So I don't know which is right. We'll see. We'll look at the other census records and see if there's some inconsistencies. And then they have a son and a daughter, Samuel and Margaret. And they have a boarder living with them, Frida Stark. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I just need to check something real quick. All right. Now let's see what did Isaac do for a living? They're still living in Tacanic. They haven't left. Salesman. Lyceum? Lyceum? Something. I can't really... It looks like... I mean, salesman. He's a salesman, but what is... It looks like... Lyceum... Something. Okay, maybe in another record we'll be able to find out exactly what that is. And they're living on 3rd Street? Yeah, it looks like 3rd Street. Okay. 1920s census. Is this her? Yeah, Marion. Samuel Margaret. Okay, yeah, so they... This is still saying that she's 36, so... Okay. So maybe either she's lying about her age or the first census we saw was wrong. And they're living in Minnesota. Whoa, they moved to Minnesota. St. Paul. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so wait, now they're in Minnesota. Yeah, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania. This is definitely them. Manager. I still can't read that. Specialties? I don't think that's right. He's a manager of something. Okay, wait, hold on. What about 1930 census? Are they still in Minnesota? They're still in Minnesota. Wow, look at that. Yeah, Marion, Margaret, 46. Yep, this is all right. Own their home. I don't know what street they're on. Commonwealth? Commonwealth Avenue. 2308. District manager. Something graph? That's not telegraph. It's like auto something graph manufacturers. A tessograph? A tresso? Address? Addressograph? Is that a thing? Hold on. It kind of looks like it says addressograph. Oh my god, an addressograph is a thing. It's like a... It's like a printing press kind of thing. Hold on, look at this. This is it. Is an address labeler and labeling system, yeah. So apparently this is what he helped make. Huh. So that's, according to this, that's what they're working on in St. Paul, Minnesota. Huh. Okay, wait, hold on. So 30. Okay, yep, there they are. Okay, now they're in Cleveland. In 1940, they moved to Cleveland. Okay, receptionist. Business machinery. So he's done all kinds of jobs, it seems like, Isaac. He's done all kinds of jobs relating to, like, machinery. But more kind of, like, behind the, like, not so much like the actual building part, more of, like, the management side of things. So, like, managers, district managers, receptionists. Because, wait, hold on. Did the... Oh, wait, yeah, look at this. Hold on. The original company which manufactured the Addressograph International, merged in 1932 with American Multigraph of Cleveland, Ohio, to form the Addressograph Multigraph Corporation, manufacturing highly efficient addressograph and duplicating machines. So that might be the company that he's working for. Because they're in Cleveland now. They moved to Cleveland. Huh. Okay, hold on. I got one more census record here, 1950. Yeah, they're in East Cleveland again. 1949 Taylor Road. Let's see. Yeah, receptionist, office machinery. So maybe that's where he was working. That might be where he was working. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, so that's all the census records. We still don't know exactly when she passed away. Let's look first at their marriage certificate, which we have right here. Okay, yeah, this is it. Wow, this whole page is it. So yeah, full name of man, Isaac Kepperly. Full name of woman, Marion Lighton. No relation. Age of man, 32. Age of woman, 21. Pretty big of an age gap there. Parents' names. Yep, that's them. Never married. Yeah, why? Oh, occupation of man. Principal of schools. Occupation of woman, teacher. Oh. That's probably, if I had to guess, that's probably how they met. That is probably how they met. And then just duplicate certificate. We're married. Okay, so they got married 13th day of June, 1905. And then because this says that she's 21 in 1905, that would make her born in 1884, not 1881 like this census record says. So I think they messed it up. Because hold on, wait, when was Bessie born? Sister Bessie was born 1882. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. Because yeah, okay, I think they messed up. Hello, Dale. Welcome on in. Good to see ya. Limbs them helpfully. Thank you for the help. Yeah, so okay, I think that is a mistake then. It's going well. We just started. We found all the census records for the girl we're researching. And then we just found her marriage record. Just discovered that before she was married, she was a teacher, and the person that she married was the principal of a school. So that's likely how they met. Let's see. Then this Presbyterian record. There's that, and then there's... Okay, there is city directories, which I do want to look at after we kind of go through all these here before we move on to newspapers. So we have this church record. Okay, so let's look at that real quick. Is this for their marriage? I think this is their marriage. Yeah, okay. Name of man, name of woman. And then, yeah, his residence, her residence, both in Taconic. Okay, this is saying June 14th, 1905. Why are you researching her? How'd you pick? Okay, so if you don't know, Dale, the girl above me here is actually part of a larger photo that I am researching. It is part of this photo, which is a photo from it's a photo from 1888 that I bought in an antique store. And as you can see, there's 24 people in total in this photo. And on the back of the photo, is a list with corresponding number of every single person in this photo with the corresponding number. We are currently researching number 20, who is Marion Lighton. And she's number 20. We've already researched everybody else, all of the other 19 people here. We're on number 20. And in fact, this right here is my spreadsheet that I've made of all the information that we've been able to find on the people in this photograph. And so, yeah, so we're researching Marion right now. And we only have, after this, we only have 4 more people. So hopefully only about like 2.5 more weeks of researching this thing, which is crazy to say, because we've been working on this since February. I love when people who write in cursive had good handwriting. I mean, that wasn't always the case in this one. I also found out that through this research that whoever wrote this spelled several of these names wrong. Spelled a couple of these last names wrong, or at least I interpreted them wrong. So yeah. Handwriting isn't always the best, but it was enough that out of the 20 people we've researched so far, I've been able to confirm 19 of them. There's only been one person so far. There's only one person so far out of the 20 that we've researched that I was not able to 100% confirm that we found the right person. I think I'm like 70% sure we found her, but I don't have enough information to 100% confirm that it is the same person. Which I think is pretty good. For a photo from 1888, finding 19 out of 24, or 19 out of 20 people, I think is great. Especially considering I know we're going to find all these remaining people. All these last 4 people here, I know we're going to find all of them because all of them are siblings for people we've already researched. So I've already found their siblings, and I know that they exist. And through that research of their siblings, I confirmed that all of them exist. Takes me off when people who have shit handwriting claim people can't read cursive, but the problem is their shit handwriting. Oh, trust me, I've seen plenty of that in my time. I have seen a lot of that. And a lot of times it's you just have to get used to a person's handwriting too. You start to learn, when you look at one person's handwriting enough, you start to learn their quirks and how they do certain things. And so it always helps, going as you go through it, you kind of start to learn it. Well, let's look at what this birth certificate is here. I don't believe this is her birth certificate. This might be for one of their kids. Okay, yes, this is for their daughter, Margaret. Okay, so Margaret was also born in Decanic. Yeah, female, born June 20th, 1908. Isaac Kempley, Marion Lighton, Decanic, Pennsylvania. Birthplace near New Bloomfield, Pennsylvania. Occupation, principal of schools. Okay. So he's still principal at this point in 1908. Because by 1910... They're still in Tacanic in 1910. Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says salesman. Okay. Yes, birth certificates are super useful when it comes to this type of stuff. They are very, very useful. They contain so much information. How far back do you go in history? I have something you might find interesting from interesting about the domestication of dogs. So I actually don't go that far back. I'm mostly in American history. I mean, that sounds interesting. I do know a little bit about that, just like basic, like general knowledge about that. I don't know anything too specific. If not interesting, at least silly. Is it the thing that I did see a thing recently that talked about how like certain dogs, like that had like a friendly gene. There's like a friendliness gene that some dogs have like adopted compared to their like wolf counterparts, and that's why they were able to become certain ones were able to become more domesticated compared to like, you know, other wolves. I know I saw that was a thing recently, like that they talked about domestication of dogs. Okay, let's look at, there was a city directory here. Where is this city directory from? Okay, 1928. Okay, this is when they were living in St. Paul. Okay, look at this. This confirms it. Okay, so Isaac Kepperly and Marion, district sales agent, a dressograph sales agency. Look at that. So that confirms that, because this is from 1928. So when they were in... Because here, does it say a dressograph? Yeah, okay, so before that... Because in the 1921, we're not 100% sure. Have you heard about the domesticated foxes in Russia? They go into a lot of the genetics of canine domestication. I think I saw like an article title about that, but I didn't actually do much research into that. But I did see that, yes, domesticated foxes in Russia were a thing. The two main theories I've heard is men bringing home pups and doing that, and I've heard that it was women throwing scraps to wolves that were nearby while they were harvesting meat. And you have a third idea. Dang, all right. I don't know the ins and outs myself, but I just know they're heckin' cute boys. Yes, I guarantee. Yeah, foxes are cute. I used to live somewhere at one point that had a fox that would hang out around our property. And the person I was living with, she would feed them. She would feed the foxes. She would leave out scraps in like the garden, and the foxes, or sometimes the raccoons, would come and take them. I think the domestication of dogs has more to do with many parents asking for the last time, no, we can't keep it. Stop bringing home wild animals. I'm basing this off of the fact kids still do this today. I mean, you know, that was maybe a little bit of it. That I guarantee that was definitely part of it. Because kids are probably more likely to make friends with animals. Okay, so that's that directory. Are there any other... Hold on, wait. Can we change it so that it's... Hold on. So it's Mary. Let's do Marion. Or no, let's do. Shoot. What's the? How do you spell their? So Isaac. Kepperly. Isaac Kepperly. St. Paul, Minnesota. When was he born? Do we have a... Okay, we don't have a... Oh, age 35. So he was born 19... or 18... Okay, so 73, 1873. And then born in Pennsylvania. And spouse, Marion. Okay, and then let's look at directories. How many directories do we have? Ooh, we got a decent number of them. Okay. Yeah, all of them are from St. Paul, St. Paul, St. Paul, St. Paul. Minneapolis, Minneapolis, and then Ohio, Ohio. Oh, wait, Toledo, Ohio. Whoa, hold on. Okay. So the one that we have here is the 1928 census. Let's see, are there any... I'm just checking to see if there are any differences in what's presented on these ones compared to the other. Yeah, that's the same information. This is from 1933. Wait, this just says sales agent. 1933. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that just also says salesman. Okay, here we go, 1923. This is maybe not that long after they moved there. Okay, district manager, a dressograph company. Okay, so that is where he was working. It seems like he worked there like almost his whole life. Because we know he was still working there at the same dressograph company in Cleveland. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, 1925, is it the same thing? Yeah, same thing. And they also lived at the same house this whole time, it seems like. Oh wait, hold on. Here's one from 1919. That's older. Okay, here we go. No, yeah, manager, a dressograph company. They're living in a different house for this one. 2118 Como Avenue. Trying to sell anything to anyone in Toledo in 1933 sounds like a task. Well, I think 1933 was still when Toledo was doing okay, I think. Well, actually, no, wait, no, Great Depression. Great Depression, so... Yeah, because I don't know when exactly Toledo started to go downhill. But I mean, everywhere in like 1933, I feel like for the most part was hard to sell things because of the Depression. Okay, what about... Yeah, still at the... Yeah, okay, that's just saying that he works at St. Paul. 1930... 1931? Is this him? Oh, moved to Minneapolis. Oh, okay. Yeah, we know. We know he's in... Okay, now these next ones. So he was in Toledo. He was actually in Toledo in 19th. Oh, and we do have an ad starting soon. Okay, so before we get into this, I'll wait for the ad to be done. Hold on, I think I missed some things in chat real quick. Unfortunately, those were showing in foxes in breeding farms that were severely interbred. Wait, really? That's where those foxes were from? The experiment from the 1950s. I know people have tried to breed and sell them, but it was just an experiment. Yeah, I know some people do have like foxes as like pets. Or at least have tried to. And I don't know. It's personally for me, I am very anti like wildlife trade, like the wildlife pet trade. It just makes me so depressed personally. Like people trying to own like Tiger King made me so mad when that came out. Oh god, that made me like I couldn't watch it. Like I watched like the first episode and I was just like, no, I can't do it. Like I just felt so horrible for like the animals and everything. And also what didn't help is that when I watched Tiger King, I literally just got back from Australia and while I was in Australia, my number one place I wanted to go was the Australia Zoo, started by Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, who's one of my idols. And it was just the complete opposite, because there at that facility, their animals are very well taken care of. They're given huge enclosures and plenty of space to move around. And yeah, yes, I did go there. This was actually, and what was crazy, Dale, was that this was in February of 2020. February and March of 2020 when I was there. The Australia Zoo, the Crocodile Hunters Zoo, was literally the last place that I went before I had to flee the country to get back to the US because everything was shutting down. Because I've talked about this a little bit before, but to give kind of the shorter version, 2020 was supposed to be my big year of international travel before going back to grad school. And well, as you can imagine, that didn't work out. And while I was already on the trip, I went to New Zealand in February, which is amazing, and then I went to Australia. And basically, while I was in Australia, it was really interesting. I was there for about 3 weeks, and it was really interesting. It was really, really interesting how in that 3 weeks, I saw things slowly develop over time. Like things going from like pretty much entirely open to like shutting down. And I remember going like before I went to the Australia Zoo, I was in Brisbane because I rented a small like camper van, like one of those like a SUV with a bed in the back of it, basically. I rented one of those and was driving up the coast, and I was in Brisbane, and I went to a grocery store, and I have never seen a grocery store that, in terms of product, that empty in my life. Like the entire canned rice sections of the grocery store were empty. The frozen sections were also super empty. Like, I have never seen a grocery store look like that before. And that was kind of my first clue that, like, okay, something's up. Like, something's might be going down soon. And I remember exactly where I was. I was in the Australia Zoo when I found out that day. I was walking around the zoo and I got notifications on my phone that Australia imposed a bunch of restrictions that prevented people from entering the country. My flight to Thailand that I had booked for in 2 weeks was canceled. And Thailand and all those countries also put in a bunch of restrictions. And the US went into level 4 travel advisory, which basically tells everybody, all US citizens abroad, to try and come home. So I had to basically that day decide oh crap, okay, I remember I called my mom and I was so upset because this was early on in COVID before personally I saw it became clear of how serious it was. Because I'll admit I was at that time I was just I was upset and annoyed because I had planned for this trip for so long and I knew it was going to be I thought it was just going to be oh, they're going to things I like everybody else. I thought, oh, they're going to be closed for 2-3 weeks and then I'm going to have to rebook a bunch of stuff and try and come back and do all this kind of stuff, blah blah blah. And it wasn't until I got home and things that things didn't open back up and it was just oh, okay, this is way more serious than I initially thought. But what I had to end up wait, hold on. I mean, out of all the countries to potentially strand it in, you could probably do worse than Australia. Yeah, no, honestly, I thought about that too. I thought, what if I just stay in Australia? There's not... I mean, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't, because, I thought, And yeah, I was so sure COVID was nothing at first. Yeah, no, I think a lot of us did. Basically until it just didn't go away. But basically what I had to do was I got up the next morning. After all that happened, the next morning, I got up super early at 5:30 in the morning. All the food that I had in my camper van, I left at the campground that I was staying at. I left it in the communal kitchen because I couldn't take it with me, and I had just bought a bunch of food because I just went to the grocery store. I left it all there, dropped off the rental caravan that I had, went to took an Uber to the Brisbane airport, walked into the airport without a flight booked, went to their help desk and was just I need a flight to California. That's what I said. I had nothing booked. I was just okay, can I get a flight to California? But I also said I also said I remember I'll also take Oregon or Hawaii or just something so that I'm on U.S. soil. So at least I know I'm in the country. And it'll be easier to travel once I do that. And this lady who helped me, she was a saint. She was so awesome because the flight that I got, the flight that she was able to book me on, she had to, I remember she got up real quick from her desk and went to the check-in counter for that flight, for that airline, to ask specifically if they could get me on that flight, because the flight was, oh shoot, I used to have the receipt for it, but I think it's gone now, and I think it's faded, so you can't read it anymore. I bought the tickets, like on the receipt, it says I bought the tickets at like 9:08, and the flight was leaving at like 9:50. Like, it was less than an hour from when the flight was supposed to leave that I got the tickets. And so I had to, and it was a flight from Brisbane to Los Angeles. So it was a really good flight. And she said that the next option in terms of price would have been twice as much. It would have been twice as much. So I had to, I remember I booked it to the check-in counter, dropped off my bag that I had. And then at the check-in counter, they gave me a fast pass basically to get through security super quick. And I ran to security, got through it super fast, and then I ran to the gate. And by the time I got to the gate, they started boarding. So if I was like 10, 20 minutes later, I don't know if I would have been able to make this flight. Yeah, I was very lucky. Very, very lucky. So yeah, that's my COVID travel story. I think I've said it before on stream, but yeah, it was a crazy, it was a crazy experience to do that. And then what I decided to do instead was, because, obviously in 2020, things didn't open up internationally at all. I decided, okay, you know what? If I can't travel internationally, I'll just travel around the US. And so what I did was I did a giant road trip around the US from July to October, where I had a tent and I was staying in campgrounds, because that was a very safe way, I feel like, to do it at the time, rather than try to stay in hotels that were very it was easy to social distance, and being outside and everything was better than being inside a building and everything. So yeah, so that's I was able to do something that way, some sort of traveling that I wanted to do, that I wasn't able to do internationally. So yeah, that's my 2020 story. It was an interesting time. We are way beyond with the ad break being done. I just realized we are way beyond the ad break being done, and we need to look at these city directories. Okay, so let's look at this one from 1912. Okay, this says in 1912 that he's working for the Adder Machine Company. Adder Machine. Is that... Wait, hold on. Is that... Oh, no, it doesn't say. Still not... Doesn't look like Adder Machine. But still, that's good to know. So that's how he probably got into that business, was he was doing, sales for adding machines. Or calculators, as we call them today. Okay, this specifically says Burroughs Adding Machine Company. Is that what the other one said, too? No, it just says the Adder Machine Company. Mine was not nearly as exciting, but I had just left work and had had the audacity to make some joke to my coworkers like, "Aha, see you never." Met my partner at a bar, and we had a couple quick drinks, and I'm sitting there. The news comes on with a story about COVID, and the bartender starts chatting up a regular patron about it. I look at my beer, I look at the TV, I look at my partner, and under my breath, I turn to him and say, "This is how Shaun of the Dead starts." That was March 13th. I didn't go back to work until November. Wow. Oof, yeah. That is crazy. Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky. So I didn't when I was very lucky in that I was able to time it right, where I was able to go back to grad school when things were opening back up, so I was able to do classes in person and everything. Um, so it definitely delayed me going back to school a little bit too, because I wanted to wait for things to open back up again, and also for the museum field to get more jobs again, because there were so many layoffs during that time as well, with every job and everything. So by the time I graduated from grad school, things have kind of recovered, so it wasn't too bad. And there were actually some job openings by that point. At least I didn't have to deal with getting home from another freaking country. Yeah, I mean, it was more just the unknown at that point. I realize now, like, in hindsight, that, like, it wouldn't have been that difficult to get home, like, another day or two. But, it wasn't, like, but it was more, I remember, oh, something else I forgot was that before I got on the plane, I was so nervous because before I left, I saw on the news in the US that, like, there were a bunch of reports of, like, oh, TSA or not TSA, the customs lines that, like, going through customs at airports in the US was taking forever. People were waiting for 6 hours in places, and it was so long and so difficult and blah blah blah. And I remember thinking, like, okay, I had just enough time to, like, grab some snacks to put in my backpack before, like, the plane took off and everything. And I mean, I was prepared, like, okay, it's going to take so long to get through customs. It's going to be so difficult. Like, just be prepared and everything. And we landed in Los Angeles, and it was the fastest I've gone through customs in my entire life. It was so quick. It was so easy. So easy. It was insane. It was, oh, God. It was, like, overprepared. Very overprepared. I was a kennel tech at a vet then. Most vets stopped letting clients come inside with their animals and stopped taking more clients, so our workload went through the roof. Made hella bank, though. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Couldn't wear a mask in that job, though, because it trapped all the fur against your nose and mouth, and then you actually couldn't breathe. Oh man, I can't imagine. That's when I was working in libraries, and I'm pretty sure if we hadn't been actively unionizing, started a few months before, they might have laid us all off. Oof, yeah. So shocked you weren't unionized already. I mean, that's not as, yeah, in the US, it's things like that. I know there are some libraries and some museums slowly have starting to be, like, unionized. Some museums, but, like, very few. Very few places in the museum field are unionized. I'm not union. I can definitely say that. I'm definitely not union. Okay, let's see. This one from 1916. What does this say? Let's see. I'm technically a quasi-government employee right now, and I'm not union. Oof, yeah. Yeah, so I know some people who work in similar type of positions, yeah, because they're technically government that they can't work, or they aren't union. I mean, yeah, but it's libraries. Nowhere else would else would really surprise me? Museums surprise me too. I didn't think. Yeah, no, yeah, museums. Yeah, museums aren't really unionized at all, except for like a handful of places I think are starting to slowly. And that's a very recent thing too. Let's see. All right, so I think that's all we got for the city directories. We found a couple of good ones. So I think, let's see, is there anything else here before we move on to the grave? Oh, here you go. There was this history book, family history book. Library jobs around here are rough. I worked the last job for 5 years and walked out of there with 2 weeks of PTO and 13 bucks an hour. It's a rough. Yep, that sounds about right. I mean, some museums, especially smaller museums, aren't that different. Yeah. Yeah, libraries. No, I've said this several times before in um on stream, and I assume it's probably the same for libraries and librarians too. Nobody goes into the museum field to make money. Nobody goes in the museum field to get rich. We all do it. Uh, we all do it to because we're passionate about it. It's something we love to do, and it brings us joy. To work with historical materials or spread knowledge or educate people, any of those things. I love libraries. I've said for years, if there's a sacred place on Earth, it's your local library. When I get my will set up, that's where I'll leave everything. Hey, I mean, if you want to, yeah. If you can, yeah, set it up with the local library. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay, so this is James and Maria. So, okay, Bessie, who we've already researched, and then Marion. Okay, yeah, here we go. There she is. Marion Ackley Lighton, born December 10th, 1880. Okay, this says December 10th, 1883 that she was born. Married Isaac Thompson Kepperly. Yep, they reside in St. Paul, Minnesota. Samuel and Margaret. Amen, friendo. I only left because of the pandemic when things became unattainable. I really think I would have done that for the rest of my life if I hadn't been something huge and earth-shaking like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, during the pandemic, I mean, everything was like just tossed everything like all over the place, caused chaos, and made so many of these positions just. It really showed that like, oh, some of these positions really aren't affordable. They really are not for a lot of people. Okay. So this is saying 1883. So I think next we're going to look at, let's see. Let's go ahead and look at this. This is their grave. Okay, so, okay, yeah, here we go. December 10th, 1883, so that is right. Taconic, Wyoming, Pennsylvania. Okay, she passed away on June 18th, 1973, age 89, in Santa Barbara County, California. She moved to California. Wow. Look at that. So at some point between 1950 and 1973, they moved to she moved to California. And look at that. Even though she died in California, she's still buried in her hometown in Sunnyside Cemetery. Look at that. These are all of her siblings. Yep, there's Elizabeth Lighton, that's Bessie. This is Bessie. And then here's her spouse. Oh wait, we have a picture of him. Oh, whoa. Look at that mustache. That is the most, like, 1910s salesman mustache I think I've ever seen. I hope it just needs to curl a little bit. If it curled a little bit, it'd be perfect. And he needs, like, a monocle. I hope the revolution doesn't forget libraries and museums. Yeah. I hope not, too. Then this has... Okay, yeah, that's... Okay, and this is a picture. Friends have received word of the death in St. Paul, Minnesota of Isaac T. Kepperly, formerly of 1949 Taylor Road. Mr. and Mrs. Kepperly moved from East Cleveland in October 1952. And Mrs. Kepperly's home address is 2176 Cutter Road, St. Paul, Minnesota. The family attended East Cleveland Congregational Church. Wait, did they? Okay, so he died in 1954, and they're back in Minnesota again. So between 1950 and 1954, they moved back to Minnesota. Huh. And that's her grave. Yeah, so 89 years old. So she's close to the oldest person we've had. She's 1 year off. Because the oldest person we had was actually the last person we researched, Jessie. But she lived to be 90. But she also passed away in 1974. Wow. Okay, let's look real quick. Let's look at this real quick. I just want to see if there's anything that we might have missed here. Is there a gallery at all for her? No, okay. Let's see, census records, we already saw all those. Marriage certificates, those are the city directories. Newspapers we're gonna find soon. There is another birth certificate here though, I think. For their other kid. Hold on, which one is this? Okay, this is their first child. Yeah, okay, so now we have the birth certificate of their other child. Yeah, this is Samuel. Also born in Tacanic. It's a little school teacher. Okay. So with that, I say let's go ahead and move on to newspapers. And see what we can find here. So we'll start with Marion Lighton. We'll start 1883 to 1900 in Wyoming County, Pennsylvania. Okay. We'll sort oldest first. Okay, so this is just the same newspaper, or the same article printed twice. Let's see. Hold on, what is this? The Demorest Medal Contest at the Opera House on Wednesday evening under the auspices of the WCTU was greeted with a good house, and the participants in the contest acquitted themselves with credit. The elocutionists were above the ordinary, and to distinguish between them may be considered invidious. But we cannot refrain from mentioning the effort of Miss Marion Lighton, a daughter of James G. Lighton, who, in a clear tone and properly modulated voice and gestures, delivered her subject in true elocutionary style. She was awarded the medal by the Committee on Contests. Her subject was number 25, a scene in a police court. Okay, so she won an award for, like, reciting something. And she would have been 17? Yeah, 17. Or no, 16. She would have been 16. Okay, what if we change it to Marion? Okay. Because what is that? Wait, hold on. Is it Mary Ann or... Yeah, it's Mary Ann, officially. But I think a lot of places put Mary Ann as well. And again, look at this. We're only getting things from, like, 1900 mostly. Except for this one. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we've seen this newspaper article before. This is the 14th birthday of one of the people in the photo, Blanche Dietrich, who is in this photo as well. And listed on the guest list is Bessie Lighton and Marion Lighton, sisters. Eleanor Metcalf and Helen Terry, who are also in the photo. Who else? Pearl Dietrich, who's also in the photo. I think that's it. Yeah. So like 5 people in this photo are also mentioned in this newspaper article. Let's see. The YG Society met at the home of Miss Ruth Burton on the eve of Washington's anniversary. The young ladies were dressed in Martha Washington costumes, refreshments were served, and a very enjoyable evening spent. Young ladies belonging to this club are... Okay, yeah, Helen Terry, who's in the photo, the Dietrich sisters, who are in the photo, and Marion Lighton. Look at that. Oh, the contest. Yeah, this is the medal contest right here. So this is an advertisement for the contest before it happened. We already read the results. We know that she won. Yeah, and this is what she read. Number 25, as seen in a police court. Huh. Yeah, that's one that we just read. What's this one? Oh, this is a different one. October of 1900. A gold medal contest under the direction of the Women's Christian Temperance Union was held at Factoryville last week, Wednesday evening, it being the annual convention of that organization. The contestants were, Marion Lighton, Tacanic. Okay, so this is after, like, they did, like, these competitions in all these other cities, and then this was the big competition. Where everybody... The medal was awarded to Miss... Oh, she won! Look at that! She won! The medal was awarded to Miss Marion, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. James G. Lighton, of this place. The contest was held in the Baptist church, which was filled to its full capacity. Mrs. Lighton's subject was an incident of the crusade. This is, like, I feel like the third person in this photo we've researched that has, like, done, like, won competitions for, like, oratory and, like, public speaking competitions. It seems to be a common skill a lot of these women had at the time. What's this? Okay, yeah, this is a longer version of the same article. Okay. So let's go ahead now. Let's change this to... Oops, hold on. 1900 to 1910. Oh wait, sorry, no, 1900. 1901. Okay, 24. And this kind of big hump here in 1903 is likely because of... Oh wait, no, she got married in 1905, right? Hold on. Okay, yeah, never mind. She got married in 1905. Okay. Yeah, what's this? Last Saturday evening, the JG Club, composed of young ladies, met at the home of Miss Mame Connell on East Tioga Street, and as it was their regular social week, a number of their young friends were invited. Among those present were... And then, yeah. Okay, Pearl. Recognize Pearl here. Marion. And that's it. Yeah, the JG Club. I don't know what that stands for, but that sounds like an interesting club. Okay, yeah, here we go. And I think we saw this when we researched Bessie too. This is an article. Mrs. H.F. Metcalf gave a reception last Thursday evening in honor of the Lafayette College Banjo and Glee Club after the concert given by them in Piatt's Opera House for the benefit of the Presbyterian Church. Total receipts from the concert were about $80, which was equally divided after paying the expenses between the church and the club. Among the ladies present were, Helen Lewis, Sarah Holly, May Holly, Bessie Lighton, Marion Lighton. Okay, yeah. Uh, Helen Lewis is also in the photo. Junior something. Oh, for the name of that club. It could be Junior, yeah. Junior Girls Club? Because it says composed of young ladies. So, like, Junior Girls Club, maybe? That's just, well, I mean, honestly, it could be anything. Let's see, what's this list that she's on here? Jersha Dow's family album. Jersha Dow, dressed in the style of long ago, will bring her big family album to the Opera House on Friday evening, April 26th, and show pictures of her family to the public at large. Proceeds from the benefit of the Baptist Church. The pictures will be as follows. Oh, this is a play. I remember reading the. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Marion Lighton plays a character in this. And who else? Hold on. Who was like the... Oh, yeah, Pearl's in this. Eleanor's in this. Okay, this next one from June 14th. Next year, the following will graduate from the Tacanic High School. Okay, here we go. This is her graduating class. Okay, so she was in the same class with Eleanor Metcalf and Pearl Dietrich. I think those are the next two people we're researching. Yeah, we are. Look at that. In that order. Marion, Eleanor, and Pearl. The next three people we're researching were all in the same graduating class at this high school. And also not that big of a graduating class. That means they're all around still at this point. Let's see. This next one's June 28th. Okay, this is just her visiting. Marion Lighton and her little brother, Delmer, spent Sunday with their aunt, Miss Billings. Okay, yeah, that's just her on her visiting somebody. Okay, last Saturday evening, the following young members of the TG Club, were entertained at the home of Mrs. Charles Dietrich. Mrs. Bessie and... Okay, yeah, Bessie and Marion are there. I recognize any of these other names. Oh yeah, the Dietrich sisters are there. Okay. Let's see. It's Sunday. Let's see. Top Gangsters Club, I'm calling it. Oh my god, that'd be a great name. Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. D. Billings, Mrs. Bramhall, and Miss Marion Lighton left on train number 1 Tuesday afternoon for Buffalo in the Pan American Exposition. Wait a second. September 27th, 1901, Pan American. Okay, that's like a World's Fair that was in Buffalo. I have heard of that. Hold on. I need to Google something about that real quick. Okay. Okay, this is after. I had to look that up. So what I looked up was the President William McKinley's assassination, because I believe uh it took place at that exposition, and it did. Yeah, he was. So this is like a few weeks after, because this is September 27th. So this is like 3 weeks after McKinley's assassination. They're going to. I was secretly hoping that, like, oh, maybe they were there at like the same time it happened and they were witnesses to it, because that would just be a really cool story. But turns out no. You said Mrs. Bramhall. I heard Mrs. Grandpa, and I was so curious for a second. That would be Mrs. Grandpa would be actually really that sounds like a name from like a sitcom, or like a cartoon from like the 2000s, like a character. Okay, this is, let's see, June 1902. This could have turned into a we accidentally were in the Russian Revolution story. Yeah, that, I mean, Jesse Garman had like all of those stories. Yeah, it is definitely a cartoonish name. Okay. The Class Day exercises of the graduating class of Taconic High School will be held at Piatt's Opera House Friday afternoon, June 20th. The graduating exercises will be held at the same place in the evening. Music for both occasions will be furnished by the Lawrence Orchestra of Scranton. An admission of 10 cents will be charged to the Class Day exercises, the program for which is as follows: Salutatory, Pearl; class oration, Jacob; class history, Marion. Okay, that's what she did. Class prophecy, Edna; class will, presentation oration, Hugh; response to presentation, charge to the juniors, Mame; roll call, Agnes; master of ceremonies, Robert Steele. Huh. I don't see Eleanor in here. Maybe she just didn't take part in the official, like, she didn't have a role. Okay, 1902. Oh, commencement. Okay, yeah, this is the whole detailed one with commencement. The exercises were opened with invocation by Reverend H.H. Wilbur, pastor of the M.E. Church. A very graceful welcome was extended by Miss Marion A. Lighton, salutatorian of the class, whose subject was Booker T. Washington, which was delivered in a most interesting manner and in strong, clear tones of voice. I just want to see if there are any other names here. So yeah, she gave this speech. Okay, Pearl. The American Girl and Her Future was the subject of an essay by Mrs. Pearl R. Dietrich, and the subject could not have been given to a more fair illustration of the true American girl. Oh wait, hold on. The following exercise at the Opera House, following the exercises at the Opera House, there was a banquet at the parlors of the Presbyterian Church with the following menu. I'm just curious what it was. Salmon salad, wafers, olives, potato chips, veal loaf, lemon jelly. Oh god, veal loaf is probably terrible. Lemon jelly, pickles, bread sandwiches, brick ice cream, cake, coffee, bonbons, and fruit. Bread sandwiches is just a really funny term. I'm picturing a piece of bread inside like two slices of bread. I know that's probably not what it is, but that's how it sounds. It sounds like you have a piece of bread inside two pieces of bread. Let's see here. What else is going on here? The following students of Tacanic High School, class of 1902, have registered as students as follows: Miss Pearl Dietrich at Drexel Institute, Philadelphia, and Miss Marion Lighton at Bucknell University, Lewisburg. Look at that. She did go to school. I mean, she was a teacher, so that's probably where she got her training before she became a teacher. Manic repressed 1950s housewife's voice. Everything is jello. Oh god. When it was slow at the library, I used to look at old cookbooks from the 60s and 70s and just be horrified by gelatin. God, yeah, there's so many crazy old recipes because Jello was it was the brand new crazy thing that everybody, had to try. So I know that toast sandwiches were absolutely a thing during the Depression, but I've never heard of a bread sandwich. Yeah. I have heard of toast sandwiches too, yeah. Yeah, where it's specifically a piece of toast in between two pieces of bread. I I fucking love Jello, and they're insane with it. Yeah, no, it is insane. I love Jello too, but like some of their stuff, I don't like. I like Jello, but I don't like Jello with things in it. If that makes sense. I prefer my Jello to like just be Jello. I don't like putting all of like the stuff in it. I feel like that. I don't know. It just bothers me. My mom used to melt hot cinnamon candies into the Jello. For spicy Jello. Ooh, I'm sure that was really good, but I can't handle spicy cinnamon. I hate spicy cinnamon. Like Red Hots and stuff like that. Ugh, no, I can't do it. I do not like that flavor. Honestly, as a bread enthusiast myself, 10 out of 10 on the toast sandwich. Maybe I'll have to try it one day. I'll have to make myself a toast sandwich. Okay. Let's see here. Pearl Dietrich from Drexel Institute, Marion Lighton, and Edna Keithline from Perkiomen Seminary. Mabel Lewis and Eleanor Metcalf from Elmira College were among the students home for the holidays. Okay, so she switched schools. Now she's at the Perkiomen Seminary. So she switched. But this shows, again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people from this photo also mentioned in this photograph. Okay, yeah, so this is them, like, all going to and from different, like, colleges and everything. Wait, hold on. January of 1903. Oh, okay. Here we go. Look at this. Miss Marion Lighton has charge of the primary department in the public schools during the absence of Miss Jenny Thompson, who is with her daughters. Uh, Miss J.W. Harding at Paterson, New Jersey. Wait, what did I miss? Did I say something? Did I miss something? For a second, I wasn't sure if we were in Victorian times or if I was hearing wrong. I'm so glad I heard wrong. Wait, what did you think I said? Did I say something weird? Oh, toes. Oh, okay. Oh, toes. Okay. Okay, I see what's going on. I thought it was something that I read in the newspaper. I was like, oh wait, did I say something weird? Did I say something bad? I didn't catch it. Yes, that is definitely a hard pass for me as well. Okay, this is 1903 again. Okay, so she was working in the public schools. Maybe that's why there's so many for her during this time. Miss Marion Lighton, who has been supplying the place of Mrs. Jenny Thompson in the Titanic graded school during her sojourn in Paterson, New Jersey, will return to her studies. Okay, so she was still in school, but she was just there for a little bit. Okay, hold on, this is a repeat. Okay, Miss Edna Keithline and Marion Lighton of this place are among the graduates of Perkiomen Seminary this year. The exercises will take place today. Okay, so this is 1903. So she graduated from this school in 1903. Let's see. I hadn't heard that, but I believed it instantly. No hate to them. I just wasn't sure how that would even work. And yeah, I don't want to think about the logistics of that either. Listen, you can like what you like, but just keep it to yourself. Miss May Keithline has been engaged as teacher to take the place of Miss Blanche Dietrich in the public schools, and Miss Marion Lighton will supersede her sister, Miss Bessie, as teacher in the same school. Look at that. These two people went to college together, and they're taking over from two other people in the photo. Blanche, we've already looked at, and yeah, I do remember this. That yeah, she did leave this school, and Miss Marion Lighton will supersede her sister, Miss Bessie, as teacher in the same school. So Marion replaced her sister in the school. She replaced her sister. Let's see. One of the pleasantest events of the season was the entertainment given at the home of Sheriff and Mrs. E.S. Hines last week by Mrs. Pearl Dietrich, Ruth Broder, Frances Dupe, and Nan Hines to a few of their friends. Timely games, music, and other amusements were introduced during the evening. Refreshments were served. Those present were Mr. and Mrs. Fred Barlow, Mrs. Edna Keithline, Marion Lighton, Jesse Billings, people. Okay, Pearl I recognize. Oh yeah, Harry Lewis. Yeah, okay. Or the wife of Harry Lewis. because of that. The Mrs. and Mrs. Miss. Yeah. Ooh, wait, what is this? Prohibition Alliance. At the Prohibition Alliance, to be held at the courthouse on Wednesday evening, May 4th, the following program will be carried out. Call to order, roll call, reception of members, song, Christian the Minotaur, song, reading A Message of Cheer, Miss Marion Lighton, Reverend H.H. Wilbur, the members of the Alliance and WCTU are requested to meet in the hall of the courthouse at 7:15 and go in a body to the courtroom. Everyone is invited to the meeting. Wow, okay, so she was involved in temperance. Oh, I feel like that's not a couple people in this photo have been involved in the temperance movement and prohibition. I mean, this is 20 years before, almost 20 years before prohibition actually takes hold in America. I mean, a lot of these people are very religious, so honestly, that doesn't surprise me. Let's see. Okay, that's the same. Yeah, it's the same article. Okay, this is May of 1904. Miss Marion Lighton will attend the State Christian Endeavor Convention in Allentown, June 12th to 14th, as representative of the local society. She also take in the commencement exercises at Perkiomen Seminary. Interesting. Oh wait, is there nothing here for her marriage? There has to be something here for her marriage, because she was married in 1905. There's nothing. It goes from 1904 to 1906. Endeavors in Allentown, State Convention of Christian Endeavors. Okay, yeah, that's... Yeah, her going to that convention. Pleasant social event. The Presbyterian people held a pleasant musical and social at their church on Tuesday evening. The musical part of the program was introduced by a piano duet by Walter Bischoff and Miss Marion Lighton, followed by a violin solo by Mrs. Freer, violoncello solo by Reverend J. W. Bischoff, and a trio by Mrs. Freer. Anybody else here that I recognize? No. Okay, so she played piano. Oh, I just realized we're in ads. Okay, hold on. We just have this one real quick. Ruth Peck Pyatt at her home entertained at a thimble party the following people: Marion Metcalf, Mabel Lewis, Helen Terry, Pearl Dietrich, Marion Lighton. Okay, yeah, she is married at past this point. Hold on. Okay, while we're in the ad, let's search to see if we can find a marriage article for her. So it'd be 1905. And let's just change it to Pennsylvania. Okay, this is interesting. This is from March of 1905. It's not their marriage, but Mrs. Marion Lighton, Helen Terry, and Professor J.T. Kepperly of Taconic attended the debate at the high school building on Friday evening. Okay, so This is her going. I'm assuming they were dating at the time before they got married. Okay, these June ones are definitely her marriage. Professor Isaac T. Kepperly, principal of the Tacanic High School, and Mrs. Marion Lighton, daughter of merchant J.G. Lighton of the same town, were married at the home of the bride's parents on Wednesday morning and are now enjoying a wedding tour. Okay. So there we go. That is actual proof of their marriage right there. Professor Isaac T. Kempler, principal of the high school. They were married at the home of the bride's parents on Wednesday morning and left on the 10:18 a.m. train on their wedding, followed by the good wishes of their many. Wait, man, they booked. They got out of there early at the 10:18 train. They got out of there quick. What about this one? Professor Ira T. Kepperly, principal of the high school, and Mrs. Marion Lighton, a teacher at the primary department, were married by the Reverend Bischoff of the Presbyterian Church during this week. During the week, the wedding was private, but the send-off on the train by members of the school and intimates of the couple was decidedly public and a wee bit breezy. The good wishes of the whole community go with them. They are a nice, hearty, and healthy pair and start off sensibly and well. I just realized what might have happened was the reason why that we weren't getting as much is because I put Marianne. We were still on Marianne and not Marianne. So we go back to Wyoming County. Here we go. That's why we weren't finding it before, because we were still on Marianne and not Marianne. The marriage of Professor I.T. Kepperly, principal of the Tacanic Borough Schools, and to Miss Marion A. Lighton, teacher in the primary grade, took place at the home of the bride's parents, Mr. and Mrs. James G. Lighton, on Warren Street at 9 o'clock yesterday morning. The ceremony was performed by the Reverend J.W. Bischoff, pastor of the Presbyterian Church, in the presence of the immediate friends of the parties. Mr. and Mrs. Kepperly left on train number 8 for the south. They will spend some time sightseeing, after which they will visit his parents at New Bloomfield, Pennsylvania, before returning to Tacanic. Professor Kepperly has been connected with the Tacanic schools for 9 years, first as assistant principal and for the past 4 years as principal. During his residence here, he has won the esteem of the community in general by his gentlemanly bearings, courteous ways, and evident interest in the things that are elevating. Miss Layton is a young lady of modest demeanor, genial and attractive personality, and withal a lot of inherent goodness. The two have many well wishes as they unite their fortunes in their journey of life. Upon their return, they will commence housekeeping on West Harrison Street. Okay, so this one has a lot more detail. Oh, wait, what is this one? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay. Miss Catherine Gilmartin of this place was elected as teacher in the primary department to fill the vacancy caused by the resignation of Miss Marion Lighton. Okay. Hold on. Oh wow, really not that many from that time. I think it's all the same. Okay, here we go. This one has her salary. The new school board mechanic bro met at the office at B.W. Lewis Tuesday morning and organized. The month was fake. Oh, look at that. This is 1904. Professor Kepperly has another year to serve as principal, having been elected for 3 years. The other teachers who served last year were re-elected as follows. And there she is, $35. I'm assuming a month, probably, for back then. Probably $35 a month back then. Okay. So that's that. So I think, all right. Now she's gonna go by Mrs. Isaac Kelper, I think. Let's try that. Not bad, right? I mean, I feel like I don't actually. I have no $35 a month in 190. What year is this? 190. It was 1904. I think that might be all right. Kepperly, Cepperly, or no, Ley. They spelled it wrong here. This is IT. Oh wait, no, not IT. Let's see. Kepperly. There we go. Okay. That's what it is. IT Kepperly. Looks like it was only about 1300 bucks. Okay. Yeah, I mean not great, but probably not honestly that much more, not much less than what teachers unfortunately still make here in the US, sadly. Okay, Professor and Mrs. I.T. Kepperly have returned from their wedding trip and are getting settled in their home on Harrison Street previous to the opening of the school. Okay, so they are still there. This is 1905. Yeah, so I guess this is how he's referred to in the newspapers, is I.T. Kepperly. Okay, Miss Helen Terry entertained at dinner on Friday afternoon in honor of her friends, Mrs. Elizabeth Strong, the following company. Yeah, there she is right there. Love that you're researching the women. I feel like we get overlooked a lot in history. Yeah, oh, there's Jesse there too. Sorry, I didn't read that. Oh, and Marion Metcalf too. I missed those. Yeah, no, well, because in this photo here, there's I think there's only two boys in this whole photograph. According to the back of this photo, there's only two boys in the entire in the entire photo. Just the first two numbers here. Everyone else is women, which does actually make it, yeah, a great subject matter to like look into the lives of these women, you know, during this time, because so many of them have done so many different things overall. Oh, he should have best been here for Jesse Garment. Yeah, that was crazy. Just to, yeah, Nap can tell it better, but she was the wife of a missionary, and they traveled everywhere due to some complications, admittedly. But she basically had a speaking career of her own when they were in the States. Yes, so basically she was a missionary, specifically in what's now Tabriz, Iran. At the time, they just called it Persia. And she basically, there was one story in particular where they were there at the when the U.S. entered World War One, and they had to flee the city, um, and try to get back to Pennsylvania. And it took them 5 months of traveling across the Middle East, India, China, and then across the Pacific. And by doing that, because they had arrived at Iran the other way, across the Atlantic and everything, and through Europe, they she circumnavigated the whole globe. She ran around the whole world, something that back then very few people ever did. Um, which is very, very cool. Just a very cool person, and I wish she had like written down like her stories. Let's see. Oh, this is a play, Scottish Reformation. Okay, and she's playing chorus of 75 voices. Puritans. Okay, so she was playing a Puritan for this play. Okay, Mabel Lewis. Yeah, okay. I remember seeing this play. She was, yeah. There are other people from this photo who were in that play too. Let's see. Okay, that's just them returning from a trip. Let's see, what's this? Miss Ruth Peck Pyatt gave a thimble tea party, or gave a thimble tea to a party of friends on Friday evening last. Those present were, and then yeah, so we have Marion Metcalf, Helen Terry, Mabel Lewis, yeah, recognize some of the people here. There she is. I don't know what a thimble tea. We had another article earlier that talked about like a thimble tea. They call it like a thimble tea party. No idea what that is. Whoa, what is this? Oh, Death of Mrs. J.G. Lighton. Okay, this is the death of her mother. But a husband and 2 daughters and 5 sons. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so this is her mother. June 1908. Oh, this is the birth of their daughter, of Margaret. Yeah, Stork's Visit. Born Saturday, June 20th, 1908, to Professor and Mrs. I.T. Kepperly, a daughter. It has been named Margaret Elizabeth. Yep, that's her. Uh... Oh, wait, no, this is their second kid. Are rejoicing over the advent of a baby girl at their home last Saturday, their second child. Okay, so their son was already born. I guess there just weren't any newspaper articles about it. What's this? A handkerchief shower. A handkerchief shower for Miss Jessie Billings, whose engagement was announced last week, was held at the home of Miss Mabel Lewis on Tuesday. The affair was gotten up by Miss Lewis, and after the company had assembled, Miss Floyd Kellogg played Lindgren's Wedding March, while Miss Helen Lewis approached Miss Billings and showered the handkerchiefs in her lap. The following guests were present: Marion Metcalf, Pearl. Yeah. Let's see. I've never heard of it referred to as a handkerchief party, though. Miss I.T. Kepperly and brother Delmar Lighton. Okay, that's just them visiting a relative. Last two here. Oh, that's the same one. Okay, this is March 1910. Oh. Okay, this is when he resigned. Dinner in honor of Professor I.T. Kepperly. On Saturday evening, March 6th, the teachers of the Taconic Borough Schools gave a dinner party in honor of Mr. and Mrs. I.T. Kepperly, Mr. Kepperly being the resigning principal of the schools. The party was held at W.E. Kiefer's, the home of Mrs. Hewitt, teacher in the primary department. The house was decorated with ferns, palms, and flowers, giving a very attractive appearance. The teachers have always highly valued their association with Mr. Kepperly, and to express his feeling, they presented him with a Knights Templar charm. Okay, so he retired in 1910 from the school. And then by 1912, they're in Toledo. So let's go here 1911 to 1920. Okay, so we got some stuff, from 1911. And then 1912. Hold on. Okay, so this first one here. DAR Public Library. Over 160 persons are now registered as borrowers of books from the library, more than 50 books going out daily. The accessions by recent date include... Okay, so this is a book that she donated. Mystery and Detective Stories. Okay, that could actually be an interesting book. Mystery and Detective Stories in 1911. That could be interesting to read. Okay, yeah, that's the same article again. What is this? This looks like an advertisement. Oh, she's selling a double heater. For sale, double heater in excellent condition. Price $15. Inquire Mrs. I.T. Kepperly, 3rd Street. Look at that. And I think this other one that I saw here is also her. Yeah, it's her selling the same heater. So she didn't sell it. By like 2 weeks later, she still hadn't sold. And then this is also from 1912. Exceptions during the past. Okay, this is her donating books again. The Cavalier, Modern Methods in Sunday School Work, a duet, character written for teachers and parents, and Bound Outlook, 8 volumes, 1900 to 1902, from Mrs. I.T. Kepperly. Huh. And that's the same thing again. So those are the books that she donated. Probably maybe she was getting rid of her books because they were going to move soon. Okay, hold on. What if we get rid of the Wyoming County? Nothing. It's only those. My cat is getting so easy to medicate. I showed him the syringe, sat back down on my bed. He followed me and even opened his mouth for me to squirt it. I love him so. Hey, you got an easy cat. I have, I'll admit, I have personally had cats that were not nearly as easy to give medicine. I know the parent my cat or the cat my parents currently have. She's pretty good with giving medicine too, because it's just a treat at this point. Oh wait, so IT Kepperly. We go just IT Kepperly, and we go to. Is there anything past 1912? No. Oh wait, here we go. Here's something. This is November of 1911. Professor I.T. Kepperly is now in charge of a sales office for the Wales Adding Machine Company of Kingston at Toledo, Ohio. He has a number of clerks under him, and their territory includes 14 counties. Look at that. He has a number of clerks under him, and their territory includes 4. So this is when he got the job. So by 1911, he's working there. Yeah, in charge of a sales office. He did a lot of sales work. That's a crazy jump from like principal to adding machines. Hold on, wait, what is this? This is from September of 1911. Professor I.T. Kepperly attended a meeting of the International Lyceum Association at the beautiful assembly grounds of Winona Lake, Ohio, recently. A sort of competition was held between the different lyceum bureaus of the country, and the attendants had the privilege of hearing the best talent the country affords for several days. It was a rare privilege. Wait, so the Lyceum, is that one of the, is it the 1910 census record where it says like what does he work? Lyceum Bureau. That's what that word is. That's what that is. Lyceum Bureau. He's a salesman for the Lyceum Bureau. That's what that word is. Okay, now we figured it out. Now we figured it out what he was doing. So that was November of 1911, and then this one from January of 1912. I.T. Kepperly came home from Toledo, Ohio, where he has an excellent position with the Wales Adding Machine Company to spend the holiday vacation. He also went down to Perry County to visit his people there. So, oh,
my back.
thank you, Dale, for the posture checked and the hydrate.
Drink.
And to answer your question, I have no idea what a lyceum is, really. Hold on. Let me look real quick. I've heard the word. Okay, it is a category, a lyceum. Oh, yeah, okay. That's where I've heard it before. It has to do with like philosophy. The lyceum is a category of educational institution defined within the education system of many countries, mainly in Europe. The definition varies among countries. Usually, it is a type of secondary school. Basic science and some instruction-specific professions are generally taught. Okay. So that's what it's referring to in this case. Huh. Okay. So, but based on this context, because we have this article here, and then these other articles of her, of Marion still being there and selling this, I think he went there. He went to Toledo first, like a year or two before, like a year or two before the rest of the family moved there. The American Lyceum movement was a loose collection of adult education programs that flourished in the mid-19th century in the United States, particularly in the Northeast and Midwest. They were inspired by the classical Lyceum. Hello, Marf. Good to see you. I see you copy and pasted the same Wikipedia article that I just found. That's funny. I literally just pulled that up right as you posted that. The exact same Wikipedia article. But welcome on in. Good to see you. Yes. So I guess that's to answer our question. That is what a lyceum is in this case. I went down in the Lyceum Wikipedia article to find it in the USA. Yes, I did the exact same thing. When going through all the different countries, yeah, I went down to the USA and then I clicked Lyceum movement. I did the exact same thing. Oh, that's funny. Okay. So maybe this make me think maybe he didn't, or no, maybe they did all move down there. Okay, hold on. Mrs. I.T. Kepperly. Let's just check real quick. So 1921. I doubt there's going to be any in Pennsylvania at this point because they're just going to be they were moved away at this point. Okay, yeah, so by 19 so between in the 1920s, yes, there are okay, what are these? This is from 1926. Mrs. C.C. Schaefery and Mrs. I.T. Kepperly started Monday morning for Paterson, New Jersey to visit their aunt, Mrs. Jenny Thompson, and their cousin, Mrs. John W. Harding, after which they visited the family of their brother, J. Herbert Lighton, at Westfield, New Jersey. Mrs. Sheffley left for her home in West Mansfield, Massachusetts, and Mrs. Kepperly returned to Secanic on Wednesday. Wait. Miss Sheffy. Is that Bessie? Hold on. Is that Bessie? Yeah, that is. That's Bessie. That's with her. She's with Bessie, her sister, for that one. Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Candy Stanton both spoke at Lyceum's. Oh, cool. That sounds, yeah. That seems like a place where you would have people like that, like give. I picture like people like having speakers come and giving talks and presentations on like topics that people like Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Stanton would have definitely been involved with. Is that the same? Wait, hold on. Mrs. I.T. Kepperly left for her home in St. Paul, Minnesota, on the Diamond Tuesday afternoon after having been called by a telegram announcing that her husband was ill with pneumonia. Mrs. Kepperly had been called to Taconic by the death of her father, James G. Lighton, and had planned to remain until Thursday. Okay, so that's why she was in. That's why she came back. That's why she came back to Taconic, because her father passed away. But then she had to go back early because her husband got sick with pneumonia. Okay, wait, hold on. Lewis text Pershing Wednesday received an airmail letter from I.T. Kepperly of St. Paul, Minnesota. Okay. And then. Okay, this is their daughter getting married. Also, belatedly, thimble party. This is a term not widely used nowadays. It was a term used to describe a gathering of ladies engaged in activities of a Lenten sewing club. Lenten sewing club. Now, there's another phrase you don't commonly hear. These references were commonly used in the early part of the last century. Women would gather to sew for charities around the Lent season. Thus, the name Lenten Sewing Club. Okay, so it's a sewing party basically, or a sewing gathering. Um, it's basically what that comes down to. Okay. Hold on, wait. Let's go back to this. But let's change it to Ohio. Okay, nothing. What if we change it to Isaac? Okay, what if we just make it just Isaac? Nothing. Okay, now what if we change it to Minnesota? Nothing. Okay, hold on. Minneapolis, Winona, Minneapolis. James E. Kepperly. Maybe they spelled it wrong. J.A. Kepperly. Sam Kepperly. Wait a second. Wait, Sam Kepperly. That's their son, isn't it? Their son's name is Sam. Hold on. Winners in kite events. Toy plane takes nosedive. Blighty. 200 boys have flying contest. Winner's machine is smashed. Oh, God. This is Minneapolis. Yeah, Sam Kepperly. That could be them, because Sam would be... In 1918, he would be... Hold on. That's Margaret. Sam would be... He was born... 1907, he'd be 11. So yeah, that could be him. That could be him, but I'm not 100% sure. It is Minneapolis. It's not St. Paul. I mean, they're right next to each other, so maybe that's why. And they did spell it wrong, too. Okay, hold on. Kepperly, 1921 to 1930. Okay, Sam Kepperly again. Oh wait, okay, there he is. Margaret. Okay. So you have to look up specifically Kepperly to find them. This is 1924. 2 U high graduates win honor medals. Yeah, he would definitely be in school by then. Yeah, Sam Kepperly, and this is for honor roll. Miss West, who made 3rd place on the scholarship honor roll, was given a medal award by the Faculty Women's Club of the University of Minnesota. Samuel Brown Kirkwood, who had an all-A average, attained for the first time at the school, was first on the scholarship honor roll, followed by... Okay, so wait, so he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he was listed as number 7 on this honor roll, apparently. So yeah, I think this is him, Sam Kepperly. And then we do have... Oh wait, no, this is Marion. The Women's Union of the Congregational Church will meet Tuesday afternoon at the church parlors. Hostesses for the afternoon will be Mrs. I.F. Kepperly. That's her. C.F. Fitch and 2 other people that are kind of hard to read. So this is her. There is some evidence of them being there, but there's very little. Very, very little. Okay, let's change it. Actually, wait, hold on. When did they move to Cleveland? Are they still there in the 1930 census? Yeah, they're still at St. Paul in the 1930 census. Okay, it's been between 1930 and 1940 is when they moved to Ohio. So we'll start here in Minnesota. Okay, J.T. Kepperly. Could that be him and they just got his initials wrong? Because JT is very close to IT. JT Kepperly, 222 Hodgson Building. Reported to police his pocket was picked in the downtown theater. He said his thief took his wallet containing $15, his automobile registration card, and his driver's license. Hold on. That could be him. Because that might be him. I'm not... Because there's no other Kepperleys that clearly live in... Melissa is Miss T. Kepperly. Okay, yeah, I don't think that... Again, not enough information. Okay, let's change it to Ohio. Rolla Kepperly, Dwight Kepperly, Dwight Kepperly, Dwight Kepperly, William Kepperly, W.F. Kepperly. These are all different. Sandusky, Troy, Troy, Troy. Let's try this spelling of it. Nothing. Wow. Hold on. Let's try Wyoming County, Pennsylvania during this time. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Wow, we're learning more information about them. Not from the newspapers of where they actually lived, but from reports from their hometown talking about what they're doing. Look at that. Yeah, Isaac T. Hold on, what's this one? Oh wait, is this just the thing about the history of like schools? Oh yeah, this is a past thing. Look at that. Yeah, faculty in 1900. First assistant. Yeah. Huh. Okay. December 1931. Okay, here we go. Professor I.T. Kepperly is now in charge of a sales office in Toledo, Ohio, for the Wales Adding Company of Kingston, Pennsylvania. He was a number. He has a number of clerks under him, and the territory includes four. Wait, no, this is a. God dang it! This is a 20 years ago. They always get me. That's why it sounded familiar. They always get me. These 20 years ago posts. They make you think, oh, there's something new in here. Nope, it's just the thing you already read. I've been bamboozled. Okay, here we go. This is one from 1933, and I think this is actually a new one. Okay, yeah, this is her visiting in 1933. Mrs. I.T. Kepperly of Minneapolis is spending some time visiting friends here. And it's July of 1933. Mr. and Mrs. Delmore Lighton, Cambridge, Massachusetts, spent the last weekend with Mrs. James Lighton. Mrs. I.T. Kepperly, who has been visiting friends here, returned with them to Cambridge, where she will spend some time. So she's just kind of traveling on her own at this point. Because, yeah, at this point, her kids, I think, have all moved out. Okay, here's one from December of 1933. Oh, this is one of their grandkids being born. Born Wednesday, December 20th, 1933, to Mr. and Mrs. Philip G. Bowman of St. Paul, Minnesota, a daughter who has been named Elizabeth Cameron Bowman. The child's grandparents are Mr. and Mrs. I.T. Kepperly, formerly of this place. Okay. So that's what that's referring to. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Mr. I.T. Kepperly, who has been for the past 17 years been in Minnesota as sales manager for the Addressograph Company of Cleveland, has been transferred to the industrial region of eastern Ohio and northern western Virginia. Mr. and Mrs. Kepperly will make their home in Youngstown, Ohio. Okay, so this is when when they moved, 1934. This is when they moved. This looks like an obituary for somebody else, maybe? James Herbert Lighton. Okay, yeah. What about... Is this another... Wait. Oh, attended the funeral of... Yeah, okay, this is her. Attending the funeral of one of her relatives. Okay, then we jump all the way ahead to 1940. Born to Mr. and Mrs. Philip G. Bowman of St. Paul, Minnesota, a son. On November 11th, 1940, the child has been named Philip Gardner Bowman. Okay, yeah, that's another one of their grandkids being born. Yeah, that's the same article. Okay, okay, let's change this to 40, 41 to 50. Oh, hold on, wait. Is there anything for Wyoming? Wait, there's one Lucerne County. So all these other ones are definitely not the right. Okay, what's this one from 1945? Is this anything? Okay, no. Only 9 more hours nap, you got this. Hey, welcome in, Onion. Good to see you. Nah, I'm not doing that tonight. I can't. You don't want another 12 hours of me. That's too much me. That was way too much me. Okay, hold on. Let's change this back to Ohio. Okay, James Kepler. Oh wait, here we go. Here's something from 1945. Okay, what is this? Canada Furnitures speak. Okay, wait, hold on. What is... Okay, so this is for Canada Furniture speaker for YWCA annual meeting, January 27th. Okay, hold on. So this is a YWCA event in Cleveland. And it says here at 11:30 a.m., Mrs. William H. Morris, International Relations Department Chairman, presents as speakers Mrs. Richard Stifel, Mrs. I.T. Kepperly, and Mrs. Donald G. Allen to bring our international relations information up to date. Okay, so she's speaking at the YWCA. Okay, that's the same thing. James Kepperly, Mary Kepperly, James Kepperly, James Kepperly. Okay, here we go. One other article. East Cleveland Reading Circle. Panel discussion leader, Mrs. I.T. Kepperly. Okay, so she was part of that club. We don't really have much else, unfortunately. And we already looked at... We already looked at those. Those aren't... Yeah, and there's nothing from Minnesota from this time period either. What if we change it to that? James E. Kepperly, James Kepperly, James Kepperly. Nope. What about Pennsylvania? Pierre, Luzerne, Adams, Lackawanna. What about the Luzerne County ones? Okay, wait, hold on. What's this? Here we go. Here's something. Rear Admiral Leighton to Kinnick Navid. Rear Admiral Frank T. Leighton of Jamestown, Rhode Island, who died Tuesday in the United States Naval Hospital at Newport, Rhode Island, age 58, and who was buried Saturday in the Arlington National Cemetery, was born in Taconic, the son of the late Mr. and Mrs. James G. Leighton. He was graduated from Taconic High School, Phillips Exeter College of Andover, and the Naval Academy of Annapolis. He was in command of the 5th Naval District at New Orleans, but he had to go home on account of illness several months ago. He's survived by his wife, 2 daughters, 2 sisters. Okay, there she is, Mrs. I.T. Kepperly, East Cleveland, Ohio, and 3 brothers. Okay. So her brother, this is a thing of obituary for her brother, but it does show that they are still living at East Cleveland during this time. And look at this. This is interesting because this right here, so this Mrs. Bessie Leighton Sheffey of West Mansfield, Massachusetts, and Mrs. Marion Leighton Kepperly of East Cleveland, Ohio, attended the funeral of their aunt in Taconic Tuesday morning. So this is actually something that has their maiden names in it and their first names. Look at that. Something that's actually not that common from this time period, especially considering both their husbands are still alive. And then, yeah, this is her returning home from said funeral. Mrs. I.T. Kepperly returns to her home in West Cleveland, Ohio, after spending the past month in Taconic, having been called here by the death of her aunt. In 1946, there's something here. Let's see. Miss Isaac Kepperly of Toledo is spending 2 weeks with Mrs. James Leighton. She will be joined later by Mr. Kepperly, who will come here to accompany her home. So her husband's going to come and join her. So she is still making it out home, and that's all we're really seeing right now in the historic record. Okay, change it to that. Change it to 51. And then 60. We should get a little bit of a spike in 54, hopefully. Actually, I don't see... Wow, none of these counties are the right counties. Yeah, Ellen, Kepperly, Jenny, Bertha... Yeah, none of those are right. But we do suddenly have a lot in Ohio. Yeah, 1954. Mrs. James Kepperly. Mr. Kepperly. Okay, that's why there's so many. Because a J Kepperly is having a bunch of advertisements in newspapers. He's selling stuff. Looks like a lot of Yeah. Like housework and like carpentry and houses or real estate. It looks like a lot of real estate stuff. Yeah, that's all that this is. This is all real estate stuff. The only ones that aren't that so this one right here. Friends here have received word of the death in St. Paul, Minnesota, of Isaac T. Kepperly, formerly of 1949 Taylor Road. Mr. and Mrs. Kepperly moved from East Cleveland in October 1952, and Mrs. Kepperly's home address is 2176 Scooter Road, St. Paul, Minnesota. The family attended East Cleveland Congregational Church. So yeah, so this is when Isaac passed away. 1954. That's crazy that there's nothing there's nothing else. Hold on, okay, let's change it to get rid of the E again, because sometimes that does change some things. Okay, yeah, it did change some things here. Okay, let's look at the Lackawanna County ones first. Here we go. Okay, here's some more obituaries. Virginia Lighton. Okay, yeah, no, this is for a obituary of a sibling. But this one, though, I think is... Yeah, Isaac Thompson Kepperly, 82, of St. Paul, Minnesota, a former principal of Taconic High School, died Friday, August 6. He is survived by his wife, the former Miss Marion Lighton of Taconic, one son, Samuel of St. Paul, and one daughter, Miss Philip G. Bowman, St. Paul. A short service will be held at the grave in Sunnyside Cemetery. I'm assuming, is it all the way up here? No, where is it? Wait. Oh, cemetery in Taconic Monday at 2 p.m. It's right here. It's this part. I didn't even notice that. Is this gonna have any more detail? No, this is literally the same article. Okay, hold on. If we get rid of the Lackawanna County ones real quick and try the Luzerne County ones. No, nothing for him. Okay, hold on. What about Ohio? No, this is the article that we just read. Yeah, that's the article that we just read. Yeah, so nothing in Minnesota. That's so annoying that there's nothing in Minnesota for them. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's change it 1961 to 1970. Oh, first let's spell it this way. Okay. Again, we're getting this J. Kepperly again from all of this. Miss Mary Kepperly, no. That's not her. Richard Charles, Mary, no, that's not her. John, no. Well, let me check this one real quick, because it's not showing the full name. Nope. Different Kepperly. Yeah, this James Kepperly is hogging the spotlight. That's not who we're looking for. Okay, so let's try Pennsylvania. Specific. Oh, wow, again, yeah, none of these counties are right. With Kepperly, Ava Kepperly. Eugene Kepperly. Adeline, Elizabeth. Okay, yeah, no, none of those are right. And now let's change it to this other spelling that does show up sometimes. Okay, Wyoming County. Is this just all gonna be like, this happened 30 years ago kind of posts? Yep, 60 years ago. You always screw with me with these ones. That's another one of those, another one of those. I think all of these are that. Hold on, maybe not this one. Nope, that's 20 years ago. Okay, wait, hold on. Here's something. 1965. Captain B.G. Lighton dies after attack. Okay, so this is a cousin, I think? Oh, sister. This is her brother. So survived, yeah. By former Ethel Major, son. And one sister, Miss Marion Kepperly of Corona, California. Okay. So she by 1965, she is in California. She has moved to California. We now know that. So sometime in between 1954 and 1965, she moves to California. Are these all also like the 20-year ago one? Yep, they are. They had no idea when making those types of articles that they would screw over so many researchers. That's all this is. That's all those ones are. Did we look? I forget. Did we look at these? Yeah, we did. Okay. But there is one in California. Okay, Eureka, California. Okay, no, that's not her. That's talking about a different Kepperly from something else. Okay, so let's go 71 to 74. Okay, yeah, nothing for... Hold on. Get rid of California. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is with that spelling, without the E. Okay, no, that's not who we're looking for. Okay, let's add the E. Maybe the E will give us something. Okay, here we go. 2 for California, 2 for Ohio, 5 for Pennsylvania. Let's look at the California ones first. Okay, yeah, these are Santa Barbara News. Yeah, that's her. Marion Lighton Kepperly of 3330 Clell Rosales beloved mother of Mrs. Philip G. Bowman. Services will be held later at Taconic, Pennsylvania, McDermott Crockett Mortuary. So she was sent all the way back from California to Taconic. With Ohio. Nope, those aren't who we're looking for in Pennsylvania. 71, 71, 74, 70. Whoa, wait, is that it? There's nothing else? That's Gettysburg in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Yeah. Whoa, there's nothing for her in Pennsylvania. Wow. Hold on. Nothing. So this is the only, this right here is the only thing. Wow. Hold on, what have we searched? Layton? Oh, that's a lot. Okay, that's a very common name in Pennsylvania. But no Marians? No Marion or Marians. Wow. That is crazy. So all we have, wow. Considering everything else that she did, I would have sworn that there would be more than just this little note here. In Santa Barbara. Wow. All right. Well, this has been interesting. This has been an interesting one. We found some cool stuff. Hold on. Sorry, I just need to check something. Okay. Yeah, not a ton of stuff, but you know, a few things here. I mean, what's cool is the company that her husband worked for, the Addressograph. I have never heard of that before, but we found out he worked specifically for that company. We discovered that they likely met because he was a principal of a school that she was a teacher at. And no crazy newspaper stories from what I saw, just kind of more of the same old, you know, visiting friends, taking part in gatherings, very involved in the local church, Presbyterian, also involved in the temperance movement. Really not much, we don't really have much on their lives past when they were living in Pennsylvania. Once they left Pennsylvania, their info is kind of hard to find. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today. I think. Oh, before we finish here though, the one thing I do want to share, because I shared it at the beginning of stream, but in case anybody has shown up later and missed it, I want to show something from a video that I was watching on Friday. I meant to share this. I meant to share this when we were during our affiliate stream yesterday, but I forgot because there was so much stuff going on. But basically what happened was on Friday, I decided to watch this video here from the YouTube channel Cinemassacre, who, if you don't know, that's the classic angry video game nerd. Classic channel, been around forever, been watching their stuff for a long time. And he uploaded a video about visiting a real 90s Pizza Hut. And I thought, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. I've heard about 90s Pizza Hut. I personally never experienced it, but I like hearing people talk about like old retro stuff and history and things like that. And well, I'll just play the clip, but it shows how sometimes with this stuff, I can truly, I can truly never escape.
You know how Pizza
I
Hut
got,
used to not
I got
just be
so much
about the
info, or
pizza?
I got stun
The
locked
Care
in the
Bear
first 20
sticker book
seconds of this
only at
thing.
Pizza Hut.
Most Pizza Huts now, you drive by them and you don't even think twice. They're basically just there for DoorDash orders and the next real estate opportunity, probably for a vape shop or something like that. But this one in Pennsylvania, in a town called Tunkahoma, it's near Scranton, so let's just.
So yeah, I was watching this video just out of nowhere, and then I get jump scared by by Tunkahanic. Like,
Tunkahoma, Tunkahoma,
and I
it's
was
near
just
Scranton.
like just the fact that I I can't believe that I was watching a video just for fun, just on my casual free time, and I get reminded again of my research. I can truly never escape. No matter what I do, I can truly never escape. It's following me everywhere. uh the universe wants you to know why Northeast PA. Unclear why. Hey, well apparently the reason why there's apparently a classic Pizza Hut in Tacanic. So if I go to Tacanic at some point, after doing all this research, I apparently also got to check out the the classic Pizza Hut. Even though personally I never really had Pizza Hut when I was growing up, so I don't have the nostalgia for it that other people have. All right. But yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Hey, TV Filmer. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. Unfortunately, you caught us just as we're finishing a stream here, where we spent today researching the girl in the photo above me here, and found some interesting information about her. She lived to be 89 years old. She married a man named Isaac Thomas Kepperly, who I will admit has a incredible mustache. Um, and also just a bunch of information and census records about their life. Overall, a very good, cool, fulfilling life, I would say, by the end of it. Hold on, wait. I know who we got to ask about this. Lewis. And if you don't know, Lewis is this little peanut guy here next to me who we like to ask questions sometimes. What do you think of Marion Kepperly and her life story?
I'm gonna pin the craziest comment.
Okay. Thank you for that insight, I guess. Not sure how that relates, but what do you expect from basically a crazy Magic 8 Ball? But yeah, so let's go ahead and let's head on back to our office. Oh, forgot I had it set up like this. Let's see. Here you go. Let me turn that off. Okay, yeah. So this is the full photo that we're researching right now. We're trying to find everybody in this photograph. We are trying to find everybody, all 24 people in this photograph in the historic record. And so far, we found 20 of them. So that means we only have 4 or 5 more people to research. So we'll be finished with this in like if everything goes well, 2-3 weeks, roughly. That's crazy to say at this point because we've been working on this for so long. But it honestly really doesn't feel like it's been like 2.5 months. It feels like just yesterday we started researching this at times. And how it's like consumed every part of my life. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for being here. If you're new here, I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. I do these streams every Sunday and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we do history and genealogy research live on stream. And sometimes we do some guerrilla streams as well. where we sometimes I do like things like play games and stuff like that, other than those other dates. So if you want to know when I go live next, make sure you go ahead and follow. I also have my YouTube channel linked down below, where I have uploaded some shorts on some of the things that we've found on these streams. So if you want to check those out as well, highly recommend that. But yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can find somebody to raid. Let's see. Who should we raid? Let's see. All right, let's go ahead. We're gonna raid somebody that we've raided before. They're also doing a reading stream right now. This is Honey Toasty, so... Oh wait, oh, never mind. Apparently we can't. Okay. Never mind, we actually can't raid them. Let's see. Who else then can we read? Or can we raid? Okay, let's go ahead and let's raid this person. Osiris. Or Sirius? I don't know how. I'm hoping I'm not. I think they're reading Wuthering Heights. So let's go ahead and raid them. All right. Let's do raid message here. That one will be for subscribers. And then this next one will be for followers. All right. And there we go. All right. So yeah, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you had a great time tonight. Nice chill night of us continuing our research. We will be back on Wednesday, continuing, finishing up the research with this photograph. And it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a fun time. This just feels it feels really short doing this compared to yesterday, ending now after only like 3 hours. But hey, this is how I normally do it. So I feel like that endurance stream has changed me. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
You have a